And welcome to this morning's edition of Motorcycle Madhouse Biker News. Yeah, I've been getting tons of emails, and also the studio line is flooded with people asking about this Cleveland deal, where it's quite an unfortunate incident. I covered it a little bit in another video and another segment on Madhouse, but people wanted me to cover it a little bit more, even though I was a little shying away from the subject because I was just shaking my head. But that's what's going to be the topic of today's Motorcycle Madhouse Biker News. All persons or persons in this newscast are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and our other social media platforms. Okay, Cleveland. Yes, there was 18 and one fatality, and the name was just released of the victim, and we'll have that there in a second. Now, a lot of people are saying, hey, well, you know, what set was it in? What set was it in? Well, it was in the black set. A member of the Omens and I guess some other clubs showed up that weren't invited. That's just what we're getting now from on the ground, on the street, as you would say. And yeah, it just escalated from there. One of the reasons why I didn't want to get too in-depth in this one is because Black Dragon or Big Cell, they be more equipped on the subject of that side of the biker scene, that subset. What I can talk about is in general and give it from an editorial type of an opinion. It's not going to be good, man. It's not going to be good for the club scene because I've already been, you know, we're a part of a couple press associations, and when something goes down, you know, they might, you know, email us, try to contact us, and boy, was that message box full on the association that we're in. And I basically, yeah, I'm not available right now type of deal because, quite frankly, I don't want to deal with it. But I guess it's our job to deal with something like this. But let's take a quick look and hear from what some of the mainstream media is talking about right now regarding this incident. Okay, this is coming out of Fox8.com. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play the video to give you some background to what's going on out there. And then on the back end, I'm going to come back and I'll give my opinion, I guess.
Chrissy, just a tragic story. Cleveland police say there were so many people at this party that it's likely important witnesses left before police could speak with them. So they're asking anyone who was there to give detectives a call. Saturday night around 11:30, police say a gunfight broke out between two rival motorcycle groups at a party on East 93rd and Way Avenue in Cleveland. 18 people were shot, including Lee Dixon, who was killed. Officials say the party was an anniversary celebration for one of the motorcycle clubs, and national as well as local members were there. Witnesses say it was chaos. People were running everywhere, victims scattered. They say one person was in the doorway on the ground and people were stepping over him to try to get away from the gunfire.
My cousin didn't deserve this at all. So if anybody know anything or seen anything, I mean, just make that phone call to the police, because I mean, people don't feel it until it hits them.
We have to figure out ways to solve our differences without using gunfire and resorting to violence. This is not the way that we should be living in our own community.
Now, police say it's possible because so many people were shot and gunfire was exchanged that some of the victims are also suspects in this case. Family, loved ones, and friends of Lee Dixon, who was killed in that shooting, they'll gather tonight at 7 o'clock at East 93rd to honor his life.
Okay, that's how the news reports are coming out. Actually, they were kind of freaking you know, they said motorcycle groups, but everybody else on the internet is saying motorcycle gangs. Right now, everybody from the New York Times, Fox News, CNN, NBC, they're all covering this. It's kind of like Waco Part 2. Even though there's a lot of differences between the incidences, there are some similar things. And right now, the media is having a heyday with this. A heyday with this. Most everything else is being called motorcycle gangs, and you have to stop and think, how does something like this affect everybody as a whole? Now, yeah, it might have been on a black set, but the cops, they don't look at it that way. They look at it as the clubs had patches on, and everybody who wears patches must be bad, thus making it where they teach it in their academy how to profile bikers. If I remember having that guy who was an ex-cop said, yeah, they teach that in the academy. It's going to reverberate through. It don't matter if it's the white scene, black scene, whatever. Again, the general public is ignorant a lot of times on when something like this goes down. They do not distinguish between, the big clubs like, the 81 or the Pagans compared to, okay, well, this was a different subsection of the culture. They just equate it with everybody because they're wearing a patch. How in the heck 18 people were shot at a party is unreal. I was actually watching Big Cell's thing today, and he made a lot of good points. A lot of good points on, people are out there, they're spending 17, 18, all the way up to $40,000 on motorcycles just to go to jail. Yeah, somebody going to prison for this type of stuff. But it had me sit back and think, well, you know what? That is a damn good point. I never raised something like that. Big Cell raised it. When's enough enough? I agreed. I have to agree with Cell. Even though I don't agree with everything he put in that video, I do agree. When's enough enough, man? Everybody here rides. Everybody loves being in the scene. And when something like this happens, it's affecting everybody, man. It's affecting everybody. Independents, riding clubs, the whole 9 yards. And it seems like in the last 5 years or so, before then you used to hear about the club-on-club violence. But ever since Waco, it's become a lot more intense. Just look at what they're going through down in Texas with the profiling. You're talking cops are pulling over patch holders just to freaking get pictures of their tattoos. They do it at will. Nobody's stopping them. And I think nobody's stopping them because, not only did the Twin Peaks thing happen, but now you have this happening. So why would citizens not want the cops to do that? Because the way the media is portraying it to the citizens is these are all bad guys. All these bikers are bad guys. Look what happened at this party, at this clubhouse. We told you so. We told you so. And the citizens, everybody knows how a citizen thinks, man. They get their news and that's what they believe. Even though we all know there is a lot of bad news reporting out there and a lot of bad news outlets. But people, depending on their lane, as I say, that's the new thing I call it, their lane. They're either left or they're either right. And whichever one it is, they're going to go flock to that news agency and they're going to believe every single thing that comes out of that news agency's mouth, their publications, the whole 9 yards. For example, NBC, they're covering this from the left angle. You got Fox News covering it from the right angle. There's really nobody covering it down the middle and giving both sides of the story. I'd really hope that the clubs involved in this will give a statement or something to the media and try to get their side of the story out before law enforcement and media just start running with this story. I'm telling you, it's plastered worldwide right now. You got papers in Australia, Europe, Canada, all of them covering this incident where it don't tell you basically all the clubs that are involved. It only says motorcycle gangs between rival motorcycle gangs. And when people hear that stuff, they're saying, well, wait, we have to do something about that. And as like you've seen in that video, you had that ward, that committeeman or the ward chairman, whoever the hell he was, come out. And now, once them politicians get involved, they always love taking an incident like this and turning it into their favor. So what's he doing? He's turning it in his favor. And, some of the stuff he says is right. We shouldn't be solving problems like that. I remember the old days. Hey, baseball bats, chains, knives. 18 people didn't get, hit. Anyway, they start coming out and start giving these big speeches. And next thing you know, the pressure builds on law enforcement to actually do something. And that's when we start getting the profiling. That's when we start getting people thinking that all bikers are bad because they see these incidences and they're like, yeah, this happened here in Cleveland. This happened here in Texas. It don't matter what set it's with. It don't matter if it's white, black, Hispanic, mixed. It doesn't matter. They don't see that. They see it as, okay, these people are wearing a patch. These guys are gang members. And it's time to do something about it. What can clubs do now that something like this is out there? Well, for one, again, give a statement. Hopefully, even though I don't know if they're a part of it, maybe the Council of Clubs, their media arm, or reach out, start getting the word flooded into the media stream before they just run away with this, man. Hopefully, even the MPP, Motorcycle Profiling Project, maybe you want to put something out there to stunt this runaway train, because that's what it is. It's a runaway train right now. You know what? This kind of stuff sells, and the media is going to keep on hyping this stuff. They're going to keep it up just to sell. So don't be surprised if you start seeing it becoming topics of anchor programs and all that good stuff, because they're going to use it until they burn it into the ground. And then you got to think, as far as the fight for club profiling and biker profiling, how are you going to get a representative, say, in the Cleveland area, Ohio, to jump on board a resolution where cops have to get more training, or a resolution that prevents police from profiling? How do you think they're going to take something like this? They're not. They're going to say, no, we've seen this incident in Cleveland and people are ending up hurt, or even worse, fatalities. Politicians are tricky, man. They really are. They're tricky people. They're tricky snakes. That's exactly what they are. It's all about them. It's not for everybody. They don't represent the people. They represent themselves. So hopefully, we get some of the biker rights organizations, or NCOM or NCOC or MRF, saying, hey, this ain't the whole club scene. This ain't the whole biker scene that does this type of stuff. It's only a small portion of the biking community that acts this way. Anything to blunt it. They gotta blunt it, man. That's all I have to say. But if you guys want to know more on this subject, go over and check out Big Cell's video. I think it's called This Is How We're MCing Now, or something like that. I'm sure Black Dragon's going to be out with something about this. Like I said, that's more of their wheelhouse, that area of the culture, than it is mine. What I do know, there's a lot of clubs that are working together. I think Big Cell said he's seen a lot of clubs down in Florida hanging together at a bike night. So there are clubs working together to try to blunt this kind of stuff. But when something like this happens, you got to get ahead of it. If not, that train just smashes through everything and you'll never be able to get your message out there. So that's what I have to say on that subject. Don't forget to subscribe to the video. Also, motorcyclemadhouse.com, Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff. But pass around the video, because right now we are throttled down, man. You got to make sure you hit the bell notification. That way you know when our videos are out. Usually they're out every day almost. So, but just in case, you got to hit that bell notification so you're notified. And even with that, sometimes you don't get notified. I've been hearing. So with that, I'll talk to you guys later.